It's David from Southside Detail. Today I have the Shelby GT500 in full ceramic coating package. So I'll be detailing the interior first, get it all cleaned up, and I'll ceramic coat those interior surfaces. Once I'm done with the interior, I'll move my way to the exterior and do a full decontamination wash, get this paint all ready and prep for the polishing stage. GT500 has these beautiful 20-inch carbon fiber wheels. I'll be taking these wheels off and cleaning inside the fenders. Get these fenders all cleaned up, and I'll actually ceramic coat these plastic fender liners, give it some nice protection going forward and keep it cleaner and looking its best longer. And this GT500 has these big Brembo calipers, so I'll be getting these cleaned up and I'll ceramic coat these Brembo calipers as well. So what that'll do, it'll keep it looking cleaner longer again, so when it's time for a maintenance wash, it'll be easy to clean off these Brembo calipers and get rid of all that brake dust, and again, to preserve that like new look. So take a look at this GT500 up close. You can see overall it's in very good condition. Less than 1,000 miles on this car. I've washed it a few times before as a mobile detailing service at my client's home. And I've also decontaminated and clayed it, so overall again this paint's in very good condition, as is the rest of the car. Just a little dirty from regular driving. You see down here below, got some spots like that from like the rain and just dirt. So that'll all be cleaned up before I do polish and ceramic coat this Shelby. And take a look at the interior. You can see not a lot going on. It will need to be thoroughly cleaned still before I do ceramic coat this interior. All the surfaces will be ceramic coated. Just has some light dust on the floor mats, dashboard, and other areas that get touched when driving. The passenger floor, you can see it's a little dirty, but that'll just need to be vacuumed. Back here as well. Again, this will all be ceramic coated to protect these seats, these floor mats, and the vinyl plastic surfaces for this Shelby. And moving on to the engine, you can see there's some water spots that'll all need to be cleaned up because this engine will also be fully ceramic coated. And here it is underneath. The hood, that'll be ceramic coated as well. So moving on to the interior, take out the floor mats, blow out all the debris, vacuum the seats. Again, with my air gun, blowing out any debris that I cannot vacuum. That'll make it easier to vacuum up for any debris that likes to get stuck in hard to reach areas. Then I thoroughly wipe down the interior with my interior cleaner. Brush works well for the steering wheel. Clean off all the dust off the dashboard. Clean the fingerprints from the touchscreen and move on to the seats. Clean the interior glass with a glass cleaning towel. Here I move on to polishing the carbon fiber trim. This will do a nice job of adding some gloss and removing any little fine defects. Then I move on to the interior ceramic from DIY Detail. So the ceramic coating covers all the interior surfaces. Big benefit of ceramic coating your interior is making it easier to clean going forward. So I apply the ceramic coating to all the interior surfaces as you see here, working my way from the back to the front. Cup holders make sense. If you spill a drink, it'll be a lot easier to clean. Seats, same thing. So you don't have to worry about any staining. Works great on fabrics like the Alcantara, your floor mats, your carpets. So these will all be protected from salt, dirt, whatever other soiling that can occur. Then I move on to the exterior, start cleaning inside the fender wells with an all-purpose cleaner and a brush. This will help get it clean before I do take the wheels off and ceramic coat inside the fenders and those brake calipers. Rinse the wheel, then I start applying a wheel and tire cleaner to start cleaning these carbon fiber wheels, which will also be ceramic coated. Using different brushes and mitts works well when cleaning wheels, especially wider wheels like this with a lot of area to clean. Then I move on to the exterior body and fully rinse it to remove any loose dirt. Start foaming the exterior with my foam cannon. This MJGC foam cannon works well. Really gets a lot of foam and lubrication, so I'm safely cleaning the paint with my wash mitt. gonna start with the hood here. Start cleaning inside all those hood vents. And after a few panels, as you see here, I like to dunk my mitt back into my wash bucket to use the grit guard to remove any loose dirt potentially on my wash mitt. This will just make it a safer washing process. And I like to wash in sections here, just to avoid the soap drying on the paint. Brush makes sense, especially with all these grills and tight areas for the front bumper. And I finish up with the rear bumper and wash those muffler tips. Then I turn on my water deionizer to remove any potential water spots on the paint as I do a final rinse. And after drying with the drying towel, I follow up with a leaf blower to get inside all those crevices like your mirrors and trim and wheels to make sure all the water is out. I'm moving on to the wheels. I take them off as you see here. And I'll need to do some additional cleaning inside the fenders where I couldn't reach with my brush with the wheels on. These plastic fender liners will all be ceramic coated. The benefit to that will be it richens the appearance to the fender liners, and it'll also make it easier to clean, as dirt will have a harder time to stay on these plastic fender liners. Same thing goes with these Brembo brake calipers, and I get in there with multiple brushes and my cleaner. Now with the fenders clean, I use C4. This is a ceramic coating from Gtechniq for plastic and trim, and as you see, it adds that deep and rich appearance to the fender liners, and this will protect it from any dirt and make it easier to clean. Then I open up a bottle of C5 Wheel Armour. This is a wheel coating. It also works on brake calipers to keep these Brembo brakes looking really good. And as you see, I make sure I use a generous amount to cover this entire caliper. Might as well coat some of the suspension with the wheels off and keep that clean as well. Now with the wheels on a wheel stand, this will help me inspect and thoroughly clean these carbon fiber wheels before I do ceramic coat them. There are some few defects and little scratches, so I bring out my polisher and use the polish to again remove any of these defects and add some gloss to these wheels. And the same thing goes for inside the barrel, and I do the same process on all 4 wheels of this Shelby. And you can see up close there are some surface level scratches. And here I am again polishing these wheels, and these afters look really good. You see a lot of those scratches are removed. And to prep for the ceramic coating, I use panel prep from Gtechniq. This removes any residual polishing oils. Then I apply C5 Wheel Armour, and these are going to protect these wheels going forward from dirt and any other contaminants. And I of course ceramic coat the front spokes and the rest of the 4 wheels for the Shelby GT500. Take a look up close. You see the coating before I level it off with the microfiber towel, and these wheels look really good. Now moving on under the hood, you can see these water spots I was mentioning. I'll need to address these before I apply a ceramic coating. So using a rinseless wash, and I follow up with the water spot remover to break down those minerals in the hood. And up close you can see an area I have not cleaned yet. You can see some of those water spots. And after with the water spot remover, they're gone. I move on to the rest of the engine bay, clean up any residual dirt, and I start ceramic coating underneath the hood with 2 layers of crystal Serum Light and EXO V5. So there's 2 ceramic coatings that'll be applied underneath the hood, and the same you'll see I do for the exterior paint. And again, making sure I'm thorough here and cover every area so we can avoid those water spots going forward. Then I start coating inside the engine bay, so all the painted parts, with again the combo of Gtechniq Crystal Serum Light and EXO V5. And this will also leave the paint feeling really slick, so it'll be harder for contaminants to stay onto the paint and it'll be easier to wash off. And then with the engine plastics, I use C4 ceramic coating here for trim and plastic parts like inside the engine bay. And as you see, it deepens the appearance. And then underneath the hood, look how much better it looks now with those water spots removed and it's ceramic coated. With the engine bay done, I move on to the exterior paint. So up close now, you can see in the light, you got these scratch marks or swirls. After I polish the paint, we're gonna remove these scratch marks that you see and improve the gloss, the clarity, and the color depth after I do this polish for this GT500. So I got my wool polishing pad, my DA fine polish, apply some polish to the pad. As you see there, about 2 drops. And I'm gonna go ahead and spread out the polish into the section that I will be polishing. Then I'm gonna go ahead and spread out the polish on speed setting 1. Now that the polish is spread out, I'm ready to begin polishing. So I found out in speed setting 4, this will get the results that I'm looking for to remove a lot of those scratches. Begin wiping off the polish. You can see after wiping off the polish, made a huge improvement, but there's a few scratches, some longer scratches, that I'm gonna go after again and polish the section one more time. So let's wipe off this section again. Now there's a big improvement. So check out on the light, this is the section I polished. This area here. You see huge improvement in the gloss clarity, color depth, and that scratch removal. Now if we work our way down to the hood, where I have not polished, you should see a lot more of those scratches where it has not been polished. And if we go back to the section I polished, you should see a noticeable difference. So I'll continue that same process with this pad and polish combination for the rest of the Shelby GT500 and get this paint looking really good and ready to be ceramic coated. And again, I continue that same process for the rest of the hood with this yellow foam pad and the DA fine polish. With the hood vents, it's a softer paint because of this plastic substrate. But you can see the results I have here. A lot of the defects are gone and we have a nice piano black appearance. And take a look at the section I've not polished and you can see those swirls and scratches. And moving on with my 3-inch polisher and my nano polisher, I can get all these little tight areas for this front bumper for the Shelby. And we're getting really good defect removal. A lot of the swirls are removed. We're getting a lot more clarity and color depth to this green paint. And I make sure to get every area, as you can see. Here's another before and after. You can see all those swirls. And now look, the section near me with this light where I have corrected. And again, here it is looking a lot more hazy. And look at that color depth with the polish. Big difference what paint correction can do. Here's another before and after. You can see those swirls on that gloss black third brake light. And after polishing it, take a look up close. See those defects are removed. Now move on to the rest of the car. This is a one-step polish and we're getting really good results for, again, this Shelby GT500. Here are the swirl marks before I polish this rear fender and all these scratches. And you can see how close I'm pointing out here with my finger. And here I am again polishing with the wool pad, this rear fender. And I use different polishers to get different areas that make more sense depending on the type of panel I'm working with. And here's a before and after You see that line where I've not polished. Look at all those swirl scratches. So again, I've not polished that section. Now here is the section I did polish, and there's a big difference. Now moving on to the carbon fiber spoiler. I have to use different size polishers to get underneath and around it, like here on the trunk lid. And I make sure to polish the taillights. The exhaust tips I polish by hand. First I get them really clean, and then using metal polish here from Purist, I polish by hand with a microfiber towel, and this will just bring out some luster and clarity to these exhaust tips, because these will be ceramic coated as well. I'll take a look up close. You can see how clean these polished exhaust tips look. Next I move on to cleaning the glass, because I will start the ceramic coating process by coating the glass. This is G1, Gtechniq's glass ceramic coating. It's 3 layers for the windshield. And you can see I apply the first layer here in circular motions. And you can see up close how the ceramic coating leaves a haze behind. And I leave the first coating for about 15 minutes before I do buff it off. And I do the same process here for the rest of the car. So the windshield gets 3 coatings, and the rest of the windows and rear window will get 1 coating from Gtechniq's glass coating. And here I am applying the second coating, this time in horizontal lines. This is just to make sure I'm getting even coverage throughout the windshield. And the glass coating is going to do a great job of repelling water when you're driving in the rain, snow, or ice. And another benefit, like always with a ceramic coating, it's just going to be a lot easier to clean when the glass gets dirty. Now wiping it off here with the residue remover from Gtechniq. After waiting about 20 minutes, I can wipe up all the coating and leave behind a streak-free finish. Again, here with panel prep. Now I'm prepping the paint for the ceramic coating to remove any polishing oils. Here I am opening up a box of Crystal Serum Light. This will be for the paint. This is the first coating that goes onto the paint. And onto my applicator pad, I start applying here in about 2x2 sections. And again, making sure I'm doing even coverage. And here is the coating up close as it starts to sweat. So I give it about a minute to a minute and a half before I level it off and start wiping off with 3 towels. So here's the initial wipe off. And these are towels dedicated just for ceramic coatings. They are brand new, so I'm not scratching the paint after I just polished it. And then I inspect with my paint correction light to make sure I don't leave any high spots behind. And then I do the same process for the rest of this GT500. Again, this is the first layer. Then I will follow up with a second layer of Gtechniq EXO V5. And being very careful here to get inside these hood vents and make sure I'm getting even coverage. The headlights can be coated as well. Those get covered in bugs when you're driving in the summer especially, and that'll be easier to clean going forward. With Crystal Serum Light, it leaves the paint feeling really slick. And then here with Halo, this is a PPF coating because these mirrors have paint protection film. You can coat that as well. Now this is EXO V5, this is the second ceramic coating. So right after I'm done doing the first layer, I start in the same spot and start coating this GT500 with this second coating from EXO V5. Crystal Serum Light's very slick. EXO V5 makes the paint feel even slicker. It's an incredible feeling right after a car is just coated, and I can feel it immediately after wiping it here with the towel. And that's going to leave the paint again feeling really slick, and that adds to that hydrophobic effect. So when it rains or when you're washing your car, you're going to notice the water repel right off the paint. Then I ceramic coat the carbon fiber trim and the door jambs. Coating the door jambs, your trunk jambs, makes a lot of sense as they get very dirty. And then with C4, again the trim coating, I get all the trim on this GT500 ceramic coated. and I wipe off any excess coating. And moving on here to the trunk jams. And then with the taillights, the plastic trim, again, I coat with C4. C5, that's the Wheel Armour ceramic coating, I apply to these metal exhaust tips. So these exhaust tips can be ceramic coated as well. And then the trim along the windows, ceramic coat these as well. And as you notice, this GT500 is fully ceramic coated, keeping it pristine and clean longer and easier to clean if it does get dirty. I apply a tire dressing to these Michelin tires. As you saw from the video, this was the full ceramic coating package. So I started with the interior, got it all cleaned up, fully ceramic coated the interior. Then I made my way to the outside, took the wheels off, cleaned inside those fenders, ceramic coated the fenders, polished the wheels, ceramic coated the wheels as well. So that's gonna make this wheel cleaning a lot easier going forward. And then I made my way to the paint. As you saw, there was some swirls, some scratches, nothing crazy, but it did need to be polished out before I ceramic coated it. As you saw, it made a huge difference just the polishing alone to get the paint leveled and looking really good before the ceramic coating. Then I applied 2 ceramic coating layers, Gtechniq Crystal Serum Light and Gtechniq EXO V5. With those 2 layers of ceramic coatings, it's gonna give this Shelby GT500 years of protection from the elements. It gets dirty, it'll be a lot easier to clean going forward and keep it looking like this. The glass was also ceramic coated as well, so if you're driving in a rain, you'll see that water repel right off the glass, make it safer to drive and easier to clean. And the trim was protected as well. That makes a huge difference. It makes that trim pop. It's just those little extra details that make the difference, especially on a really nice car like this. So the trim will be protected as well from staining or any future fading as well. And here's a closer look at this Shelby GT500, all polished and ceramic coated. Look at the reflection to that paint. That metallic flake is just popping out here in the sunlight. It looks fantastic. Again, this was the 1-step polished and 2 ceramic coatings for the paint, with the rest of the exterior being coated like the wheels, the fenders, the trim, and full coatings for the interior. This Shelby came in with only a few low miles, but as you saw with the polishing and the ceramic coating, you can still improve the appearance to your car and more importantly, protect it going forward. Up close look at these fenders. Again, that coating deepens the appearance to that black fender liner. And the exterior trim as you see here. It looks so good here in the sunlight. So much gloss. And look at that flake just popping out. Take a look at the polished exhaust tips. This lower rear valance, the trim was all coated. Carbon fiber looks great, all polished and coated as well. This was multiple days of work, but you can see the end result is worth it. Now moving on to the interior. Interior is fully cleaned, and all these surfaces like the seats, your vinyl plastics, dashboard, steering wheel cup holders are all ceramic coated as well, including these door jambs. And that carbon fiber trim. And finally the engine bay was clean and ceramic coated. Let me know what you thought of the video. This is David from Southside Detail. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe.